Hello, beloved listeners, and welcome to Snake People at the Movies, film criticism by people who actually like film. Join us as we dive into movies we love, movies we respect, and movies we wish we could unsee. It's a podcast where we talk about growing up and living queer, nerdy, and depressed online at the cinema. From the kids who are so stoked to be back, it's Sneople at the Movies. I'm Maddie.
I'm Ezra.
And I'm Helena.
And you just dabbed on our video call, and I did see that.
I feel like I had the video call minimized, and you paused, and I went, Helena's dabbing, aren't they? I can hear your dab, Helena.
That's how powerful it was. Listen, I'm in a very good mood, as I said.
I love that. That's so... I forgot. I, got on this call, and I was like, I missed this show. I missed my best friends. Anyway.
I missed you both, and I'm also back in theater mode, which is making me very happy.
Yeah, I'm so happy for
the
you.
combination of those
too.
two things is just like...
Good.
Yeah!
Yeah! Dabs.
Something, everything's coming up, Helena.
That's right.
I didn't do it that time, I just said it, which was
I just
worse.
Said it. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Real quick, hey guys, do we want to check in about Master and Commander? How are we all feeling about boats?
Wait, hold on. Do you want to save that till after we do the what we sneak so we can...
I mean, yes, not to jump ahead. I just do want to point out that we all have watched it since we've been gone.
Yeah.
But let's check in about that afterwards, because I saw that and that was extremely funny to me. Anyway.
Okay. Okay. So obviously we have a lot of catching up to do because it's been a month.
An amount of time.
Haha. Oops.
And change.
Yeah, a month and a touch. So I have seen Sherlock Holmes, the one with Robert Downey Jr., both 1 and 2. I saw See How They Run. I rewatched the Daniel Craig Casino Royale. I saw The Night of the Hunter because that was part of my Sneople homework, and we all watched it together. I rewatched Home Alone, saw The Muppet Christmas Carol, watched, again, Beauty and the Beast, The Enchanted Christmas. I'm aware. Watched Die Hard because I watch it every Christmas Eve. Rewatched Tombstone, watched Terminator 2, obviously watched Master and Commander. I watched the Darjeeling Limited for the first time, which was fun.
Oh, I forgot you hadn't seen that one before.
Yeah, that was you, me, and Ben watching that together for the first time, because I was like, I've never seen that. You guys were like, all right, well, this is what we're watching next. That was a double feature with Master and Commander, let me be clear, as we watched those two back to back.
Men on modes of conveyance.
That's right, men going places, so a lot happened.
Emotionally and physically.
Yeah. Did the New Year's Eve watch of Fellowship, Two Towers, and Return of the King. Rewatched A New Hope, and then watched Out of the Past for my other part of Sneople homework. I also finally finished Andor. Fuck, that show was really good! Oh my god, that show was really good! Oh, very excited for season 2.
Andy Serkis, though, am I right?
Oh my god, he's so good!
I haven't watched it yet, and I really need to watch it.
Z, please watch it so we can
maybe I'll go do that maybe I'll watch some when we're done recording. I'll eat my Chipotle, which is gonna be. I'm gonna have to microwave that.
Whatever. I think it'll live.
Probably.
Then I've been watching more of the Clone Wars animated series because I guess I've been in a Star Wars mood. I will say I've played a lot of video games. Pardon me?
You've been in a Star Wars mood? That's crazy.
Yeah, shocking, right? Who could imagine? Me? And obviously I play a lot of video games just kind of all the time. That's just me. But I played a game over a few days that had a pretty big impact on me. It's called Kentucky Route Zero. Just wanted to mention that because that was like a media experience I had that was like really interesting and significant. So that's my video game rec for this year, is if you haven't played that, play Kentucky Route Zero. That's me. That's all I watched. Phew.
I have a quick follow-up question, Maddie. Beauty and the Beast, The Enchanted Christmas. How do you feel about the tree topper played by Bernadette Peters that they made weirdly sensual in that film?
Actually, I love her. She's my friend.
She's great.
She's
good.
She's
great, right?
It's a bizarre movie. I watched that one a lot when I was a kid because it's Beauty and the Beast, and I was like, yay, more Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
And I put that one on in the background while Amanda and I were doing other stuff, because I was like, I don't know, let's just watch this. Have you seen this? Tim Curry's in it. And she was like, all right, whatever. And I was like, God, this movie is so fucking weird.
It was weird to me. The weirdest thing to me is, which I think we've talked about before when I rewatched it a few months ago, is that it is supposed to be like taking place before the end of the first movie.
It's in media res, like in the middle of Beauty and the Beast, the movie.
Yeah, so like over the Christmas break where they're like throwing snowballs at each other, we're supposed to believe that also this has happened.
This
which
whole
is totally
movie takes
crazy.
place over a period of, I think, 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 48, if I'm being generous. And for some reason,
just, like,
Beast has a whole fucking organ in his castle and also a musician that's like part of his staff. And who is gay for sure.
It's kind of like
I've never fucking seen this movie. I didn't know this movie existed until Helena started talking about it. The only thing I've seen is somebody doing an absolutely unbelievable cosplay of the organ. Anyway, this sounds bug nuts insane.
It's insane.
Two
and
things
I kind of want to watch
real
it
quickly
now.
too. You kind of should, because it's kind of like, it's not long, and
it's like an hour.
Next Christmas we'll get, zooted and watch
it. Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Christmas.
It's kind of like Conan Doyle coming back after finishing the final problem and being like, yeah, these stories, I don't want to write any new Sherlock Holmes stories. So all of these Sherlock Holmes stories happened before the final problem when he was still alive. So he's still dead. But then he's like, oh, Moriarty is still a character, right? But we're like, you never mentioned him before then. Like, he had no idea this was a character. You're a fucking liar, Arthur.
Yeah, Arthur Conan Doyle, and Arthur Conan Doyle's out here, like, just fucking unbuttoning his suit to reveal his continuities for losers t-shirt.
Which I respect.
Yeah, but also
good for him.
God.
Yeah.
He got photographed in that t-shirt.
I mean, I had to amend that joke because I was going to try to say, what I really should have said is booty shorts, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
continuity. He got photographed in those
booty shorts.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay. Yeah. What have I seen?
All right. Helena takes a very deep breath.
A lot of this is rewatches. So I rewatched Mulan. I watched Brazil for the first time, which was good. I watched McCabe and Mrs. Miller for the first time, which I loved. It fucked me up real bad at the end. I rewatched 2001: A Space Odyssey, for laughs. I rewatched The Night of the Hunter with you guys. I saw The Fabelmans in theaters. I watched Out of the Past. I watched Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. I rewatched Mad Max Fury Road. I watched Triangle of Sadness, which was fine. I rewatched Master and Commander. I watched The Ring and The Faculty on the same night because it was my birthday and I was going to go out with my roommates, but I had gone out the night before, and then I was like, I'm too tired to go out. Can we just stay at home and watch a couple of horror movies? And then we did. And they were The Ring and The Faculty, which I'd never seen before. And then I went home for the holidays, and I forced my parents to get caught up on a bunch of movies from this year that they hadn't seen because they'd never go to the movies anymore. And so we watched they saw last year's West Side Story for the first time, Spielberg's West Side Story. I showed them that. We watched The Fabelmans again. I really like The Fabelmans, so I was like, we have to just watch this. I showed them Nope. I showed them Catherine Called Birdie, which they both really liked, which I felt very successful about. And Banshees of Inisherin. And we also watched Glass Onion. We, of course, rewatched It's a Wonderful Life. We rewatched Little Miss Sunshine. And that was the last movie before I went back. And then I had food poisoning on I see you, Maddie. I see you and I recognize you. I had food poisoning on my flight, which was the worst thing I've ever experienced in my life. So I got home and ate Ritz crackers and ginger ale and watched Final Destination 2 with my roommates. And also several episodes of season 7 of Survivor, because they're watching that right now. And on New Year's, I watched Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. I watched Everything Everywhere All at Once, finally. I watched Chunking Express. I rewatched parts of Curse of the Black Pearl with the commentary by Jack Davenport and Keira Knightley, which was very good. I watched In a Lonely Place, which is also a film noir. I wasn't intending to fit that into this discussion, but I did watch it. It was very good. And last night I watched The King of Comedy, which was great. And that's me. Yes, Maddie, your hand was raised.
Yes, I was going to ask have you seen Final Destination 1? Was there a reason you watched 2?
I think my roommates had watched the first one when I was still in Portland.
Ah, okay.
So they were like, let's watch Final Destination 2. And I was like, I know the premise of Final Destination. Like, I don't need to see the first one to see the second one. And you don't. It was very enjoyable.
Cool. I haven't seen any of them, so I wasn't sure if there was a reason.
No, yeah. There wasn't any particular reason. They're just moving forward in the series.
Cool.
Also, I do want to say that, of course, Maddie, you and Leia showed me several episodes of Game Changer and Make Some Noise.
Yeah, I was gonna admit, I forgot about that. So good. So good. And you watched some TV?
I did. I watched, I'm still on my Breaking Bad Better Call Saul watch, but I just finished the entirety of I Think You Should Leave, which I love. I finally got around to watching. Very funny. And I think that's pretty much it TV-wise. I mean, of course, I'm still... Oh, yeah, Leia and I finished season 6 of Supernatural the other night. We were very sad, and my roommate came in was like, what are you watching? Because I was, like, making a lot of sad noises and sounds, and I was like... I just, for the listener, I... I mouthed Supernatural to my roommate because I couldn't express what I was going through, but she got the gist because she's been there before. It was very painful. Season 6 is very painful, you guys. It's sad.
Leia keeps showing me, like, the good episodes from later seasons of Supernatural, and it's, like, slowly, inch by inch, dragging me down the, like, what if I watch more Supernatural hole, and I'm, like, hitting myself with a rolled-up newspaper, like, no, you will regret this, do not do it.
I let Leia show me later seasons, and I'm like, I will only really watch 1 through 5, though.
Yeah. I was like, with Leia, I was like, honestly, as long as I have a buddy and we're watching it together, I really don't mind. I'll just go off of what you recommend we watch.
Yeah, basically.
Because her guidance is very good. She is, of course, an expert, affectionate, not derogatory. I don't want her to take it derogatory.
Somebody has to be.
Yeah. Somebody has to be. Somebody has to take that bullet. And
she did. She did that for us, and that's
she did that for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's me.
Okay.
All right.
I watched A Man Called Ove, the Swedish one, not the Tom Hanks American remake, which my parents saw and they thought was like fine, and I was just watching the Swedish one and I was like, how can you possibly translate the social mores here? None of this makes any sense. There's not socialized housing. Anyway, I love that movie. I thought that was fantastic. I have zero desire to read the book, but that's just because I don't know, just whatever. I watched all of the Netflix Dragon Age Absolution show, which made me want to play Dragon Age, which I'm really mad about because it made me do for like the 19th time, be like, okay, but what if you started Inquisition again? It's like, bitch, you don't like Inquisition. I'm like, but what if I'll like it this time?
We've had this discussion so many times, and every single time we come out of it, like,
hope springs eternal, man. Hope springs eternal.
It does. It's like Skyrim. Every time we think, maybe I'll like Skyrim this time, and then we spend a badillion hours in it, we're like,
the problem is, like, I like Skyrim because I don't care about the story of Skyrim. I like the experience of playing Skyrim. The problem with Inquisition is that the story and the experience of playing it both piss me off.
Yeah, that's fair.
Anyway, but I love Dorian so much.
I wish you were in a better game, King.
Yeah, I wish you were in a better game, King. Obviously, the double feature of Men Going Places, Master and Commander, and the Darjeeling Limited. I am 2 for 2 in 2022 in showing my close friends one of my favorite movies of all time and them going, yo, this whips! So that's great. Love that for me. I also I watched Glass Onion. I went to the Fablemans also with my parents. I really enjoyed the shit out of that film.
I love that movie.
I watched Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. Obviously, Out of the Past and Night of the Hunter. We all did our homework for once. Hey!
Good job, team.
And the Lord of the Rings, New Year's Eve Lord of the Rings marathon. The first 4 Pirates of the Caribbean movies, I had not misremembered how bad the 4th Pirates of the Caribbean movie is. It's
not good.
It's not good.
It's bad.
There were some fun bits, and it was fun to watch with Leia.
Sure.
But it is not a good movie.
Some of us saw that one in theaters.
Oh, some of us, including me.
But Ezra, did you see it in theaters and then gasp out loud when one of the minor naval characters from the first film was shot and killed by a Spanish officer?
I do not remember this.
Remember the guy in the first movie who says, "That's got to be the best pirate I've ever seen," who was also in the first Star Trek reboot film. He's the guy who's the red shirt who gets killed.
The guy who looks like skinnier bargain bin Dominic West.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, Ezra. That's him. He reappears in the 4th movie, just like
out of fucking nowhere.
Because Norrington's dead, I guess, at this point. So they're just like, gotta pull something.
And then he's like, we need a Brit.
They're like at the end, towards the end of the movie, he's like standing with like the flag, and then he's just suddenly shot by one of the Spanish, and we're just like, what? I was like, you can't kill him. Not my friend. Anyway.
The important thing about the 4th Pirates of the Caribbean movie is that Jeffrey Rush still seems to be having fun, and also getting paid, which is what matters to me. And also, anyway. Penelope Cruz?
Penelope Cruz.
Penelope Cruz, has incredible breasts.
She does.
I'm gonna just say that on this show and move on.
They
what
match
else
her
needs
talent.
to be said, really?
She's an incredible actress, and she's very charismatic. That role sucks shit.
Yeah, bad.
And anyway. Good for her. I hope she had a good time making that movie. And I also watched the first 2 episodes of exactly. I watched the first 2 episodes of the Inspector Gamache or whatever it is, Mysteries that stars Alfred Molina. The main thing I took away from that was I'm horny about Alfred Molina, which we knew already. Because I started sewing Helena, oh my god, I was looking at you and I said your name. I started sewing Madeline's Christmas present, and then I didn't want to stop, so her throw pillow is infused with me being horny for Alfred Molina. I hope that helps. I think that's it.
Assume.
I think that's it. If I saw anything else, I forgot to log it on Letterboxd because I have seasonal depression.
I don't think we watched anything else, which is all I can contribute to.
Yeah, that's fair.
Can we?
Hades! I watched like 3/4 of a silent Let's Play of the video game Hades, which whips, and I want to play it really bad now.
That game's long as hell.
It is, in fact, long as hell. I have spent a lot of time.
That basically counts as a movie. Yeah,
I have spent a lot of time watching somebody play fucking Hades.
Can we check in about Master and Commander?
Yeah, let's check in about Master and Commander.
Really quick. I cried this time, which has never happened before. I'm feeling like real big about this movie right now. I'm just like,
I did not.
I think it's perfect.
We watched it with friend of the show Ben, who had never seen it before. And I had a blast. Every time I watch that movie, I forget 98% of it. So I came out of this one and I was like, I think I'm going to remember most of the movie this time. So yay, good job me.
Fuck yeah. There's like entire sequences in that movie that I forget every time. I have seen this movie like at least 6 or 7 times.
It's long. It's a long movie.
It's long as fuck.
And there's a lot packed into it. Yeah.
But it breezes by.
It does not feel long while you're watching it, but you're like, wow, there's a lot of movie in that movie.
Yeah. I mean, it's only 2.5 hours, but it feels like a longer movie, not because it feels long, but because there's just so much that happens.
Yeah, you're like, how does all of that happen in 2.5 hours? We were talking to Ben and we were just like, kept saying to each other, like, they're never going to make another movie. Nobody's ever going to spend that kind of money to make that kind of movie
like that. Yeah.
And that is a fucking tragedy.
Also, that director only puts out bangers. You guys were, like, listing off stuff that he's made, and I was like, the fuck?
Real.
No, Peter Weir is one of my top 5 directors of all time.
So underrated. And I feel like that's an example of, like, kind of a late period film for him. I've been watching just, like, a lot of, like, late period movies by masters recently, where it's this is kind of, like...
That was the last movie he made,
97?
No, he made another
more
one more recent that's called The Way Back. It's about some people
which is
literally walking out of a Soviet gulag.
That's right. Okay.
That movie fucking slaps. And, like...
Yeah.
I went to go see it with my parents. My dad and I are, like, giant Peter Weir fans, because of course we are. And we were just like sitting there like, fuck, this movie is so good. And then it just dropped into the pond of critical discussion with a little, like, and was never heard from again.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Has Colin Farrell in it. And fucking Ed Harris.
Colin Farrell,
it's so
Saoirse
fucking
Ronan,
good. Yeah,
Jim
Saoirse
Sturgis.
Ronan's in it. It's so... I love that fucking movie. Anyway.
Yeah, it's good.
Peter Weir, bangers. I'm gonna watch Gallipoli this weekend and probably get really fucked up about the First World War again, which is good because I'm also planning on just buying Dan Carlin's Hardcore History, 15-hour audio thing on the First World War so I can listen to it again. Oops.
No shame. No shame.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's so good though.
I'm kind of annoyed that I somewhere along the line became like a First World War buff somehow.
Like a dad, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's better than being a World War II buff, I guess.
Massively, I would say.
Yeah. There's if you're gonna be a war buff, I feel like there's like gradations of like.
There's way worse wars you could be a weird about.
I could be a Civil War guy.
Yeah, you could.
I mean, I couldn't.
That would be bad. You could. I literally also have memories of working at Powell's in the morning. Whoops, I said the name of the bookstore I used to work at. And listening to Dan Carlin's Hardcore History on the First World War. I just having to stop because I was so shook by something that he said. Or the way that,
I cried in the walk-in freezer of the Albertsons at 4:00 in the morning listening to that series.
It's rough.
I was opening the bakery and just really, really going through it. Highly recommend. Also, if you, on the other hand, do not listen to that series if you don't want to have a very weird relationship to media about the First World War, because you will, bring a whole bunch of stuff to it, and it will make it really hard for you to discuss it with people who don't have a shitload of information about the First World War living in their head, i.e. my discussions about 1917 with people, where I was like, on the other hand, my experience of watching this movie is really different. Anyway, sorry.
On the other hand, do watch Benediction, as I have said multiple times.
I need to watch it so bad. Yeah. Maybe I'll do a First World War weekend and watch Gallipoli and Benediction this weekend. Let's just emotionally injure myself on purpose. Anyway, let's talk about some on the subject of dark themes. Let's talk about film noir.
Yeah, so that's our topic. That was, this is technically our birthday, Comrade. Birthday topic.
Comrade, our birthday.
It's extremely delayed birthday episode, yeah.
Which is happening about a month after my 30th birthday. But that's okay. We had stuff to do.
There was a lot going on, yeah.
Yeah. So I chose a couple of movies, one of which I had seen, but Ezra and Maddie had not, and one which none of us had seen. And I chose, for the first one, Night of the Hunter because it's one of my favorite movies that I only just saw for the first time last year, but still. And the second movie that I chose was Out of the Past because Robert Mitchum happens to be in both of those movies. And I was like, oh, that's a nice little connection there. So those are the two that we're discussing today. Real quick, I just wanted to read off this definition of film noir from Understanding Movies 5th Canadian edition, which is the textbook for Film 101 that I had in college in Canada.
That's right.
Still have it. It's long, but I like it. It's only one definition, obviously, but I like it because it's very evocative. So I'm just going to read through this as quickly, but also articulately as I can. Film noir, literally black cinema in French, is a style defined primarily in terms of light or the lack of it. This style typified a variety of American genres in the 1940s and early 1950s. Noir is a world of night and shadow. Its milieu is almost exclusively urban. The style is profuse in images of dark streets, cigarette smoke swirling in dimly lit cocktail lounges, and symbols of fragility such as window panes, sheer clothing, glasses, and mirrors. Motifs of entrapment abound. Alleys, tunnels, subways, elevators, and train cars. Often the settings are locations of transients like cheap rented rooms, piers, bus terminals, and railroad yards. The images are rich in sensuous textures like neon-lit streets, windshields streaked with mud, and shafts of light streaming through windows of lonely rooms. Characters are imprisoned behind ornate lattices, grillwork drifting fog and smoke. Visual designs emphasize harsh lighting contrast, jagged shapes, and violated surfaces. The tone of film noir is fatalistic and paranoid. It is suffused with pessimism, emphasizing the darker aspects of the human condition. Its themes characteristically revolve around violence, lust, greed, betrayal, and depravity. And if there were any words in there that, listener, I mispronounced because I learned my vocabulary from reading, don't worry about it and don't tweet at me. Because I'll find out eventually.
I think you're probably fine. I did not hear you mispronounce anything, but I think we're good.
Darling, it's lattice, not lattice.
Thank you.
You're
lattices. Welcome. That's the one. That was one of the ones I got.
I know this because of pie crust.
Amazing. See, this is what you learn. But yeah, that's the definition that we're working with.
Cool.
Which I like again because it's very focused in the mise en scène of what we see in film noir, as well as the themes, as well as like what visually we expect to see in it. Mm-hmm. And Night of the Hunter was a movie that I really was interested in, partly because I really like it, but also partly because I feel like it doesn't conform to a lot of the ideas that we have about film noir, which is I was almost uncertain, like, does it really count? But it's considered to be, by many, to be considered film noir. And when I was watching it again, I was like, oh, it very much is. But it's also very different in many ways. And Out of the Past feels to me slightly more traditionally film noir in terms of how I think of it. But
yes, agreed.
I would agree with that.
Want to open up the floor to that.
You've included a question for the class here.
What was that? Oh, yeah, questions for the class, yeah. Yes, I will. I can read those out, too. I want to also, like, do we need to do a plot summary of these at all? Or, like, a very, very brief?
Yeah, I think we can, just briefly. Okay. We said last time, like, if you want to do the homework, here's the homework. But for those who decided not to, or didn't have time to, or what have you, I think we can kind of do a brief. Obviously, you could look them up on Wiki. I had to reread the summary of Night of the Hunter again, because it was, like, a month and a half ago that I watched it, and I have the memory of a gnat. So you can read up the summary on Wiki pretty quick, or we could do a brief summary as well.
I can do a brief just overview of Night of the Hunter if you guys want to do Out of the Past, since you've seen it more recently than I have.
Okay, I'm down for that.
Go for it.
Night of the Hunter is kind of a Southern Gothic, almost fairy tale film noir story. It is about a serial killing preacher, played by Robert Mitchum, who in prison learns about a stash of money by a man with two children who are the only ones who know the whereabouts of where the stash of money was hidden. And he goes in search of these two children to the small southern town, marries their mother, and tries to manipulate the children and the mother in his goal of trying to find this money, eventually chasing the children throughout sort of the down the river throughout the South, like trying to get his hands on the money by any means possible, as the children try to evade his grasp. And they eventually find themselves, well, I don't know if that's important. The Lillian Gish part of the story, I don't know if that's necessary for the plot. But that's the basic important thrust of the movie.
He eventually gets arrested. He kills their mother at one point.
Yeah, he kills their mother.
Yeah, he
spoilers,
sure does.
But
which is why they end up going on the run. Yeah, apparently, according to Wikipedia, it is based on a true story.
I heard that it was based on a short story that may have also been inspired by a true story.
Yeah, there's a couple layers there, but yeah. And initially when it came out, this is not shocking, but initially when it came out, it was not very popular. People were like, "Whoa, hey, what the fuck?" It's pretty violent.
It is, yeah.
Pretty shockingly
grim,
so.
Also, like, he's trying to kill these children, which is, like, in a lot of pieces of media, someplace that, like, people won't even go, right? And then has come around to now people are just like, this movie is incredible.
It was so poorly received by basically everyone when it came out, which was 1952. That
it was
Charles
after
Laughton,
Out of the Past.
Yes, Charles Laughton, who was also the famous actor, it was the only film that he ever directed, and that is because it was the first film he ever made, and the reception to this one was so poor that he basically got really depressed about it and never made another movie, and he died like a decade later.
That's so sad.
So
yeah,
fuck y'all to the audiences in 1952, I guess, but you know,
because this one ripped and
yeah, very much ahead of its time.
Yeah, and then Out of the Past.
Yes,
once again, stars Robert Mitchum, and he is a former PI, essentially, who is currently a gas station attendant in this small town, and his past ends up catching up with him. He gets embroiled in this, like, complicated criminal situation. I was trying to find a better word.
Web. There. It's like it's like a set of
blackmailing
crimes.
Yeah. It mostly revolving around this woman, who is very much like a femme fatale type. And it's about him, like, being a part of it and trying to get out of it, and it's interesting. It's another one of those movies it's only like an hour and a half. It's not very long, but a lot happens. And there's a lot of different sets. One of the things that stood out to me is they went a lot of places, and a lot of the scenery was great.
Yes, absolutely.
A lot of, like, cool wide shots of different places. A lot of great sets. Something I noticed, which is, like, totally sorry, go ahead.
No, please keep talking.
Totally not important, but there's a part where they're going through this big, great set of double doors in this, like, wonderful, elaborate house. And you can tell that there's no glass in the panes. Which obviously, right? Because they don't want it to reflect anything. And they don't want it to light, showing cameras, whatever. But I just had this photo of, like, oh, those doors don't have any glass in them. Interesting. Anyway, that was just, like, totally unrelated, but something fun I noticed. What were you gonna say, Z?
Oh, I was gonna say I really liked Out of the Past a lot in the way that it moves around a lot. It occupies a lot of different spaces that you wouldn't necessarily usually associate with film noir, but it manages to show you how the kind of traps that people fall into, the way that those are visually represented, can happen, and you can't get away from them. Once they're in your life, once you are touched by that kind of lifestyle, those environments will find you wherever you go. You will keep stumbling into them. Yeah.
There's this whole point.
Fucks.
Yeah. About him initially just being, like, a PI in New York, and he's stated to be, like, he's smart and he's honest, and that's why he gets hired initially for this job. And it's like, this guy is, like, I don't think he's, like, a bad dude. He's very clever, right? And he's very good at dealing with these, like, difficult, dark situations. But it's like, man, it's fucked that, like, no matter what he does, he just can't get out.
Yep.
Helena, you metaphorically have your hand raised.
Yeah, I have my hand in my nose. The one moment that I remember standing out to me visually was the Hays Code of it all. When he's telling the story and he's with this woman in the hotel that they're staying at in Mexico, I believe, and they kiss, or they go to kiss, or something is thrown. I think like a jacket or something, or a clothing item is thrown against
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't remember what he throws. It might be a lighter or something.
Yeah, and then the door like bangs open because it's like windy outside at the same time that happens, and it's like
down. Yeah.
Whoa! Like, okay, so we know what's happening here. I love
they're fucking for sure.
Yeah. I loved all the little ways that they are able to get around that. Because it's a very sexy movie.
Absolutely.
That movie is very horny. It's really cool.
A lot of
will believe
grabbing
in Robert
each
Mitchum's
other.
chin. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of grabbing each other in film noir. A lot of that kind of like the man grabbing the woman is like and her hair flows backward. And you're like, whoa, dude. But
love how when you know that like what you can show is restricted, other forms of implying sexuality become so much more powerful and satisfying. And I'm just like, put as much sex in your movie as you fucking want. Go off, I don't care. This is almost more fun for me personally.
Yeah, that's true of so many different... Go ahead.
Sorry. Well, it's kind of just like the Brian Eno quote about like the thing that you miss most about that old form of media. The thing that you used to like frustrate you about the old form of media is going to be the thing that you miss most. Because it's like the way that people found that directors and actors and cinematographers, what have you, found to get around the restrictions that they had during the Hays Code, which is obviously objectively a censorship.
Oh, it was censorship. Yeah, no, 100%. I am not. Right? No, this is a Hays Code.
None of us are advocating.
Agreed.
Right? But the ways that they got around it became such powerful. They became, in the hands of good directors, such powerful cinematic images that sometimes is missing. I feel a lot. Even like, again, don't mind sex in films. Have all the sex you want, but like also feeling empowered to show what it feels like symbolically.
It forces a level of creativity in visual symbolism that I think just like
it's
in a
fun
media that's all about visuals, that's Kino, baby. Like fucking I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it. That's the post.
Maddie, you were going to say something.
I love Kirk Douglas so much. Sorry, Maddie, go ahead.
We all started talking.
Shut the fuck up.
At the same time, which is like, welcome to the show.
Which is what the video call is supposed to make us do less, but we're all just really hype about this.
Yeah, it's been too long since we've recorded, so we're all like, I have so many things I want to say. I think specifically the visuals is one of the things that is so great about film noir. Something I always notice, which we've absolutely said on the show before, is that when you watch these old black and white films, the use of light is so creative and interesting, because how do you show contrast? How do you show different things except for using light? That's the only tool you have. You can't use color. Everything is gray. Which these days I think it's something that's really missing. But it's so good.
Hollywood, pay your lighting department.
Yeah.
Seriously.
There were a couple of really great shots specifically in Out of the Past where it was like they would feature somebody in like a spotlight or whatever, and the rest of everything around them is like black, and because it's just black and white, it's such a like strong, cool moment. It's just something that I love.
Yeah, the image of like somebody like standing under a street light or something like that, just it's never gonna look as good in color as it looks in black and white.
Yeah, which is why colorizing is evil.
No, don't do it. Shut the fuck up. Stop that.
Stop it.
Colorize historical photos all you want, because that's a good idea to make people not feel like the past is a foreign country in like the way that they shouldn't have to care about it. But hear me out here. Quit fucking colorizing films. I don't know why I'm pointing at the camera.
I mean, nobody's really doing it anymore, but people should stop watching it.
It's bad.
Stop doing that. A couple of to tie them kind of in together, and Ezra, I do want to touch back again at some point about your point about Kirk Douglas. But visually, Night of the Hunter, I remember when I saw it for the first time, the two images that really stood out to me that like kind of blew me back a little bit were their mom under the lake in the car after she had been murdered.
How did they do that?
right? And you're like,
I imagine they must
hair
have had
is
a pool or
seaweed.
something.
Well, and I think that was they had a dummy. They had some kind of
yeah,
because her you can kind of see her face is kind of like not quite.
So I
think they
yeah.
had like a
Oh,
dummy.
I was thinking about
possibly
camera
a tank
stuff, like
camera,
like,
possibly a tank. Yeah.
Anyway,
it was
sick
incredible.
of shit.
It's like there's so many. I think Night of the Hunter is a terrifying movie, and it's not explicitly like very, because of course films like that couldn't be like that back then, explicitly gory in any way. But it is a terrifying movie in a way. It just like gives me chills, and that's one of the times in that movie it does that. The other time is that shot of him when. Ben, I believe is the boy's name, who's kind of the protagonist of the film, they're hiding in the barn. They've been running from the preacher, and they've been like down this river, exhausted, they're tired, they like finally find a place to sleep, and it's dawn, and he looks out the barn and he sees the silhouette of the preacher riding on his horse over the hill, singing Leaning. That's that religious hymn that he repeats often throughout the film, and it's like a shadow play. It's like one of those very old, what are they called when you spin it around really fast? It was like before cinema, those little toys where you would spin it around really fast.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. I'm thinking rotoscoping, but I don't think that's what you're referring to. I know what you're talking about, but that's the only word I could come up with.
Yeah. It's like it's a very almost like I don't know how I don't know how they did that. Yeah, it's very haunting. It's very creepy and inhuman. Robert Mitchum's performance in that is
really so good,
incredible.
Oh my god.
And I remember too watching it for the first time when they get away from him on the river and he lets out this like growl,
awful
sound, and you're like, oh god, he's an animal.
Yeah, he's inhuman.
Yeah, there's that. It really is the Southern Gothic thing of like he's much more like
that man is a
panther,
beast. Yeah,
or something that is once it has your scent, you're like, and you are so fundamentally on its turf.
Yeah,
which is
it's like literally the wolf in sheep's clothing because he's presented as such a charming, like. Handsome man, and everyone's like,
he's got those hand tattoos, which for the 50s is like whoa, for now is like whoa, but like he's got the hand tattoos that say love and hate, and I remember seeing those the first time and being like, whoa, fuck, okay,
same.
Which you will see if you ever watch Do the Right Thing make a reappearance.
Oh, sick.
With what's his name? What's the actor's name? He's in... God, what's his name? He's passed away recently. He's in Spider-Man 2. He plays one of the journalists in Spider-Man 2. But he's in Do the Right Thing.
I think I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember.
I'm so terrible with the character's name, too. But he has, like, famously, like, these, like, rings on his knuckle. One says love and one says hate. Which is, like, a reference and a callback to the...
interesting. Cool.
I think it makes an appearance in other places as well. But... yeah, you're just like something. The kids are the Ben is like the only one who's like, "What's up?" Again, that like that knowledge, that canniness of children were just like, "Excuse me, can no one else see what is going on here?" I think that Shelley Winters also plays it very well because she is playing she's so vulnerable and so like open.
She's playing
love.
The mom.
Yeah, she's playing the mom. And she's very easily manipulated and very like the moment when I think she does realize that, oh, I've made a mistake in marrying this man,
and it's too late.
And it's too late for me is like, anyway.
Awful.
Yeah. Awful.
This is not really that important. Ben is the name of the dad. John is the name of the son.
Yeah, okay, thank you. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, John is the son.
I was like, that's not right. Why is that?
Thank you.
But not that important. Anyway.
Yeah. He's good. For a child actor,
for a kid?
Yeah, he does a good job.
He's good.
He's good. It's also kind of like really funny. I remember when I guess not when I was watching it with you guys, but that when I got it for the first time on Criterion and I was rewatching it, when he's trying to get Pearl, the daughter, to tell the secret about where the money is, John gets like really anxious. He like throws a hairbrush at Robert Mitchum and it like whacks him on the side of the head. And she turns around, she's like, "You hit Daddy with a hairbrush," like, but in a Southern accent, which I can't do. And it's really funny. Like it just balances all of these moods so well, which is why it's like this movie is such a banger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Z, what were you going to say earlier?
Kirk Douglas.
Oh, I didn't realize that Kirk Douglas was in this movie before I started watching it, and I had kind of forgot that I have like a weird soft spot for Kirk Douglas. I find his brand of screen presence to be like, it should be annoying as fuck, and it's not. Mm-hmm. He's so cocky, and he makes it work. Anyway, yeah. he's fucking terrible. He's so good in that fucking movie. He's so good. He is the ultimate in like, yeah, I'm short, that just means I'm closer to hell.
Yeah.
Which I love for him.
He's got such a great stage.
He is very stagey.
Yeah.
There's something very stagey about because this is the kind of period where it's like you're moving away from that, and sometimes in the same movie you'll have actors of lots of different degrees of staginess, and sometimes that can be kind of great. Weird. I've definitely seen movies where it makes certain performances kind of great against each other, but here it's like it's the theatricality of it is like almost more part of the character's deal. You know, he's playing a caricature of this particular criminal boss or whatever. And then watching him, you know, watching the noose tighten on everybody, watching everybody run out of options. He's so satisfying to watch backed into a corner.
Yeah.
Z, I highly recommend both of you, but Z especially, I highly recommend that you watch The Bad and the Beautiful with him, because it's a great movie. Also, he is tremendous in it, and it's one of those situations where, like, oh my god, he's an asshole, but I can absolutely see why everybody fell for it, because I'm falling for it right now. He's very good at playing those types of roles.
This is completely unrelated, but the actor who plays Kirk Douglas in the Dalton Trumbo biopic, the resemblance is fucking uncanny. Go look at a picture.
Oh, that's right, you mentioned
fucking
that.
Weird, dude.
Yeah.
We talked about Michael Douglas, is it?
No, his name is Dean O'Gorman. He's one of the guys from The Hobbit. I hate that I know that off the dome. Yeah, he's the blonde one of the dwarves in The Hobbit. And they got him made up, and he looks fucking uncannily like young Kirk Douglas. You're like, okay, hang on.
Yeah, we showed us photos of him.
Did Kirk Douglas ever go to New Zealand?
Yeah, either you showed us a clip of him or you showed us photos of him. Us being Ben and I at one point, so we were talking about Trumbo. And I was like, fuck, you're so right. Christ almighty. Very interesting.
I remember sitting in theater and being like, fucking excuse me? I know, right? It's fucking weird.
Wow.
Yeah, anyway.
I didn't realize that he was in that movie separately. You were like, Dino Gorman, and I was like, what?
I mean, what?
Yeah,
I'm going to put this one
I know, right?
In the chat, even though I know you've seen it, but like, anyway. Very good job, makeup team.
Yeah.
Yep. Since we're talking about performances too, I would be remiss not to mention Lillian Gish as well in Night of the Hunter, who
oh my gosh, she has such a vibe of being someone like literally out of another time, and that she was a silent film star, and it lends such a lovely. The character is, I think, the most fairy tale in a way, in a good way. That I really, she has this unbelievable like softness to her that I'm just like, what are you doing with your face?
Yeah.
Anyway,
I got really choked up. Actually, I think watching it with you guys, I remember one moment when she's telling them all, stories from the Bible or whatever, and John goes away and he comes back and he keeps like asking her about it, and he has like the apple or something. I can't remember what she said, but there was something about her delivery and me for the first time clocking her noticing something about this child too, about who he was and what he had been through, that was like, oh my god. That I think that like lends her power is her ability to see what's like the reality of the situation and to see who was right and who was wrong, because right. that's like right immediately when the preacher comes in, she's like it takes her like a minute of like looking at John to be like, okay, fucking get off my property or I'm gonna shoot you.
Yeah,
like, you know,
and she does.
She sure does. I love that for her.
Yeah.
And the Academy Award goes to Lillian Gish with a shotgun.
Yeah.
Ugh, great movie. There's something very elemental about it, like very, again, with the fairy tale aspect of it, that's like literally a battle between good and evil, where like there's some people when they talk about the preacher's character was like, oh, so he's like literally Satan. Like he's kind of in a way, not literally, but they're just like, this is like the most evil person that you can imagine.
There's
which I think
elemental
is in a way
quality to his evil that I think is interesting.
Yes. But it's never too broad, is what I guess I'm trying to say.
No.
Yeah.
What I said before we started is that this movie feels to me more like a folk story or a folk tale than a fairy tale. Because fairy tale to me evokes a particular sort of like, there's like a magical element almost, rather than something like a folk story is a little bit more down to earth. And to me, like, Satan feels a little bit too out of reach, where like I said earlier, he feels like a beast. He feels like the wolf in the woods.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
More than like the devil, in terms of like there's like the devil has almost a human element to him. That man's not human.
Yeah, no, that's an interesting point. I was sort of seeing it more of like the kind of version of the devil that I feel like shows up in certain kinds of stories, where it's like you are just getting the tiniest little bit and you get glimpses of how deep it runs. But he's not nearly genteel enough.
Right.
There's the point, the way that the devil, like, this is, you know, the big one that comes to mind is the devil and Daniel Webster, where the whole the thing that's fucked up is the you know, the genteel shell over this sort of unfathomable evil, whereas like his veneer of civilized, like being civilized, is like hanging on by like fucking,
it's an eggshell,
dental floss.
Yeah.
Over literal just like slavering bestial evil, which fucks incredibly hard. Yeah. Also, I'm obsessed with the drunk uncle.
He's great.
I love the drunk uncle with the boat.
He's very sad, and I wish the best for him.
I love the sort of like the fairy tale, the like folktale element of like the series of adults who try but fail you, kind of a thing.
I think like the overall, I feel it. I agree with you, Maddie. I feel it is more akin to a folktale. The only part of the movie that feels like a very fairy tale element to me is when they fight that trip down the river, where they just visually, because it's like all of a sudden Pearl starts singing this very impromptu, creepy song, and all of a sudden we're seeing all of these animals, like frogs and rabbits.
No, I agree with that.
And like cobwebs, and it's like, it's kind of like a step back from the reality of what we had been. Yeah,
it's a Thumbelina-ass scene.
Yeah, the Thumbelina-ass scene, exactly, yeah.
I remember sitting there going like, this is the most animals that I have seen in a movie from this period ever.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, like, imagine how much of a pain in the ass it would have been to like get handlers for all those animals.
No, because the like OG Dr. Dolittle movie is from way later, because that's in color.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I just kept being like, and now there's a bunny, and I was like, okay.
Yeah. And that scene
I don't associate this kind of movie with like just random live animals.
Yeah. That scene where the owl like flies and picks up a rabbit from the ground or something.
Yeah.
Lillian Gish is like, well,
right.
that's where she says it's a hard world for little things, which is one of the thesis statements, I suppose. Woof, woof, woof. Yeah. I do want to return to Out of the Past, too. Do we have is there anything else, too, that we didn't touch upon?
I think it's hard to really get into the weeds on this movie without spoiling a lot of what makes it so, like, interesting, because it's so complicated, right? Like, I'd have to talk about the story. Yeah. Which maybe we just want to do. Like, maybe we just want to fucking get into it.
Well, I guess we can say, hey, if you're going to watch this movie, stop listening now and come back.
Yeah.
I guess we can. I guess I never really read out the question to the class, which I can do now really quick, which we've already kind of covered in many ways. But you know, in what ways do those movies, like specifically, in what ways do those movies differ or adhere to those the definition of film noir as we see it? Night of the Hunter, we've talked about already, I think differs extremely for me because it's not an urban setting, because it is a rural setting. And there's none of those. There's definitely spaces of transience, as he mentions here, because they're on the move, on the river, constantly moving from town to town, as is the preacher as well. It's almost like the preacher is bringing in his this sort of film noir darkness with him into the plot, but it's also already there because the children's father brought that into the story as well. But Out of the Past is very
it feels a little bit more classic.
Yeah, the whole like cigarette smoke swirling in dimly lit cocktail lounges.
God,
like,
people are constantly smoking in this movie.
They're constantly smoking,
like almost nonstop.
It's like you don't watch movies from this period for a while, and then you do again. You're like, did just like everyone over the age of 16 have a cigarette in their mouth the entire time they were awake? And the answer is yeah, kind of.
Maybe.
Yeah, kind of.
There's a point where Wit, the bad guy, offers Richard a cigarette, and he's like, "No, I'm already smoking." And I was like, "Yeah, no
That's
shit,
right.
King." Like, it's just people are always offering each other cigarettes, they're always lighting each other cigarettes. It's just like matches everywhere. There's a couple of great shots of people like throwing cigarettes to the floor and like stomping them out or whatever.
Yeah.
The problem with cigarettes being bad for you is that you can't light each other's cigarettes, which is a loss.
Yeah, or throw them to the ground to make a point.
Yeah,
it's a loss to our society and to homoeroticism as well.
Yeah, fundamentally, yeah.
There's a point where he pulls a cigarette out of his cabbie friend's mouth because he's fucking stressed, and he's like, "I don't want to light a cigarette. I'm just gonna pull a cigarette out of your mouth, smoke it, and then put it back in your mouth." And his buddy's like, "No, man, you take it," and takes it out of his mouth and puts it back in the other guy's mouth. And I'm like, what is happening right now? Hey, guys, what's going on?
No boundaries. No boundaries.
That moment of like, why do I kind of wish this were me? Oops.
The ultimate sign of trust. Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Yeah, I light all my homies' cigarettes.
That's right.
Yeah,
fellas.
Metaphorically, I'm always doing.
Yeah.
But so there's a lot more of the urban areas as well, but like not as much as you would think. A lot of it is small towns and more rural areas. They spend a decent amount of time in San Francisco, but not a ton.
Even then, you don't necessarily think of. I feel like there's something that I associate so strongly with like East Coast cities. Or Midwest. The idea of like film noir
They're near
making
Tahoe.
it all the way out to the West Coast. Yeah, it's like, what the fuck? Okay. You shot a dude in Tahoe? Fuck me, alright.
Okay. Yeah, and like there's not even a lot of the like hotel rooms being on trains going from place to like there's a few. They spend a lot of time in Tahoe, as stated. They spend some time in Mexico, and then there's some time spent in San Francisco. Those are kind of the three central locations, I would say. So it's interesting because there's a lot of things watching it where you're like, yeah, this is film noir as shit, but like looking at this definition is like, but there's a lot of ways that it differs too. Like the kind of the essential core part of like the script and the themes and the visuals are there, while still not quite like hitting a lot of the other points, which is like that's fine. It doesn't really matter much.
That's what's great about this one definition, right? Is like here he's like saying here are all of the things that we see a lot in this type of movie, and of course for every great film noir, which I think that Out of the Past and Night of the Hunter both are. Yeah, every great movie is going to distinguish itself by adding something different to that definition, right? And of course, this definition kind of, but not really, doesn't even touch on neo-noir, which of course is not really part of the discussion today, but like a completely different thing that
which
has
I would love to have a discussion about at some point.
Oh yeah, definitely,
absolutely, because of course you know what movie we love very much. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang happens to be
your friend and mine. Kiss Kiss Bang
your friend
Bang.
and mine. A neo-noir, and so how does something that I don't really have like an answer to necessarily, but just like trying to think something I would think upon is like is how does neo-noir then distinguish itself in terms of photography primarily, if it's not able to quite use the same amount of contrast between light and shadow. But like Vertigo managed it. I don't know. Vertigo's in colors. That's a film noir. Absolutely.
I think one of the key points here, part of the Venn diagram that is the overlap here, is this list of themes and tone of like paranoid, violence, greed, betrayal, depression. Those like are the more than like the visuals or the like locations or the whatever. It's the like, what is the core point? What are you thinking about? And it's like, there's no happy ending here. This is miserable. Everybody here is miserable, and there's no escape. Or sometimes there is, but sometimes you really gotta fucking go through it to get to the end. Like the kids in Night of the Hunter is like they do get a happy ending, but at what cost?
Yeah. The even if they're safe now, the things that there are irrevocable losses no matter what,
and that's the rest of their life too.
And it's a complicated loss too, because I think the one moment that I was like, the first time I saw it I was like, was of course towards the beginning of the movie. He sees his dad being arrested by the police. He sees that. And that's the last time he sees his dad ever, because his dad is put to death. And he cries out because he's a child. And towards the end of the movie, when the police are arresting the preacher, they arrest him, and visually the way that he falls and the way that they hit him is the same. It's the same pose that he strikes in the same way that he falls to the ground. And that triggers something in John, that he reacts in the same way, even though this man has been terrorizing them throughout this entire movie. That finally just like something is just like, I've had enough. Like it's just like his endurance stretched to the breaking point. I wish I had never had this.
That feeling that like, no matter how righteous you think the violence is, violence still leaves marks. Even the people who are doing it for like a good, I feel like that's one of the hallmarks of film noir for me, is that there is no uncomplicated violence. No matter how satisfying you want those like ways of solving a problem to be, they're gonna fuck somebody. Like nobody goes unfucked up by it.
Yeah.
There's also in Night of the Hunter, if I'm recalling correctly, there's a not very long scene, I think, where it's a court scene, and they like bring up John to testify, and he can't do it.
Yeah, and it's just like you see the prosecutor, all you see of him is his hand. You see him pointing across John. Is that the man who such and such? Doesn't say anything, and he says, "All right, son," and he puts a hand on his shoulder. It's just like completely disembodied, just like presence. Like that's where, like it's just like another kind of violence that he's experiencing in a way, being forced to do that, right? And the mob that like chases after them, which is like weird because it's like the mob that now has turned against the preacher that was like for him beforehand, is now like virulently against him. Like we knew he was a bad apple from the beginning. Hang him. We want to make sure he's dead. And they're also, when they see the children out in the street, they're like following them and chasing after them to the point where she has to like protect them from them. So there's also that kind of, again, what you said, Z, there's like there being an idea of good violence of some kind. That mob is like incredibly violent and wants violence and craves violence against somebody who is horrible, but their actions and their behavior is also, besides being so hypocritical, is also just equally as terrifying and terrorizing to these children. Yeah.
And in End of Out of the Past, once again, spoiler if you haven't seen it, but you should go watch it because it's fucking good. Where it's Kathy is the name of the, right?
I think so.
I just saw this fucking
old
movie.
Flame, right?
Yeah. I think her name is Kathy, shoots the criminal Wit. He comes back into the room and sees Wit dead on the ground, and this guy's been causing trouble for years for the protagonist at this point, like 3 years or something, has always been kind of under the shadow of this guy. He's set up from the beginning as like an issue, and you see him dead on the ground, it's just like, oh fuck. Yeah. Shit, we're really in it now. Like, even though it's like, you want this guy to be dead, we're like, yay! I saw that moment, I was like, things are worse now. Like, I know that it's worse now.
Yeah. Even when you're rooting for them, right? I mean, it's very much we don't have to get into that. It was just like very much the Gone Girl thing, right? We were like, she did nothing wrong, which is like a very fun and very mimetic way to like talk about that movie. And I get it. We all approve of retribution against abusers, but also somewhat reductive way to talk about the issue of violence and going back into Out of the Past. Like, these are two people that we're rooting for, really, especially Robert Mitchum's character, because he's telling the story kind of in flashback almost to his new girlfriend, right?
Right.
You're rooting for him, you're rooting for his new girlfriend to like forgive him for what he's done, and you're rooting for Kathy too, because you can sense that there's real human emotion there and motivation to what she's doing. She's not entirely selfish, but they've done what they've done to get where they are, to get out of what they've done is only keeping them further enclosed in that trap, right?
They can't win anymore. There's no winning anymore. I will admit, I was not rooting for Kathy. I was like, there's something wrong with this girl. I don't like this. And when it was revealed that she had actually taken the $40,000, I was like, I fucking knew it, bitch. Don't you fuck with me. I did not like Kathy, did not like her vibe, but I get what you're saying.
Oh, maybe I just thought she was hot, and I was like,
no, she was hot for sure.
That is, I have to say that can sometimes, in story and also on the effect on the viewer of a beautiful woman.
Speaking of a beautiful woman, Robert Mitchum.
I love to speak of
what a
woman.
hello.
Also, wow, God.
Hello, sir.
Is me opening this call by saying, welcome to the podcast where we want to fuck dead guys? I don't think that made on the recording. Maddie, you can cut that if you want.
It did not, but I'm leaving it in now.
There you go.
He's so handsome.
I love to embarrass myself on this podcast. I forgot how much fun it is.
He's so handsome. He's so good.
Oh,
God, he's so good.
He's unbelievably good.
He's got such an interesting, like, lopsided face almost, but it works.
It's very
so
sharp,
well.
Also.
Yes, very sharp features. He's got that chin, as we've mentioned.
Yeah.
Just that
he plays
looks. Anyway.
Yeah. He fits well in both the role of the preacher and of the PI detective. There's something very intense about him that I think works really well here. Yeah, I think he also plays the, like, any of in Out of the Past, any of the conversations he has with his new girlfriend Anne, I still find like very he can still be soft. Like, he still has that, charm about him where it's like, I get why she fell in love with you. I understand that, like, there's a gentleness about you there between that and the guy who is, like, clever and harsh in order to get out of horrible situations. Acting.
He's so funny. I mentioned how terrifying he is in Night of the Hunter. And I've also mentioned, but want to reiterate again, how funny he is in that too. Mm-hmm. Because his whole facade, and it was more noticeable to me too after watching Out of the Past and hearing like a slightly more normal voice from him. His very stagey preacher voice that he takes on when he's talking to the townspeople is so funny to me, especially when he comes into the ice cream shop after murdering their mom. Oops. And he's to tell them that, like, she ran away and it's because, you know, she's a woman, and it's like all of these things, and they're sympathizing with her. It's like, it's horrible because you're like, dog, you murdered her. You're a serial killer of women. But it's very funny.
I remember saying out loud, like, this is like if the Music Man was a serial killer, and I stand by that one.
Which is true, you're right, and you should say it.
Man. Yeah, because he comes to town, he's got a hat, they're like, who's this guy?
Who's this motherfucker?
This is like if the Music Man was doing murder instead of cons. I mean, it's still a con, but it's a con with much more murdering.
But it's a con with blood. Yeah. Sorry, the way I said that was not very pleasant.
No,
I thought
it was very good.
Okay. I think we're pretty close on your hard out time, yeah?
Yeah, and I think we've covered a lot.
Cool. I'm thank you for picking these movies. They were both
great.
Neither of them are necessarily something that I would have, like, sought out on my own, and I'm very glad I had an excuse to watch both of them.
Yeah, me too.
Good, yeah, I'm glad.
We haven't talked about a theme for next time, but I'm thinking, because we just did Noir this time, do we want to do New Noirs next time?
We can totally do Noirs.
Sure.
We can totally do, at some point, I know we've talked about kind of doing an ongoing, like, let's do Noirs this time. I am making you guys watch Body and Soul because I'm obsessed with John Garfield.
Mm-hmm, as you should be.
And I'm doing that one, and then there's another one that's not Gentleman's Agreement. I think it's called Crossfire. And because I think that late 40s, early 50s examinations of anti-Semitism are really interesting.
That's Edward Dmytryk, the director. Is that Robert Mitchum?
Mm-hmm.
Your friend and mine.
Also an interesting one, because I believe that the novel that it's based on, it was about homophobia, and then they were like, well, we can't do that, but we can make it about anti-Semitism, which I think is interesting as a person who experiences both of those things.
Yeah, fair
enough. This movie is very interesting to me also because Gloria Graham is also in it. Who?
Also, yeah, just like a banger cast.
Sorry, what was the second one? I missed it because I was looking up Body and Soul.
Crossfire.
Great.
Was the second movie. Gloria Graham was also in A Lonely Place that I just watched, her and Humphrey Bogart. She is somebody who I have had just a completely new experience with recently as an actress because I grew up mostly knowing her from It's a Wonderful Life. She plays Violet in It's a Wonderful Life. She's so funny. And she's also in Bad and the Beautiful. She's also so funny in that movie. But she's like a huge film noir like master. She's been in a ton of them, playing not usually, I don't know about femme fatale, but I think kind of in A Lonely Place, she's kind of like the I don't know what the other character type is, what the name for that is, but she's kind of like, because the plot of In a Lonely Place is like she falls in love with Humphrey Bogart, but then thinks that he might be a murderer. So she's like placed herself in this position of danger, but she's still in love with him, and the way that just like the suspicions and paranoia around that like destroy their relationship. So I'm just seeing her, the opportunity to be like, to see her range as an actress has been really special. So I'm very excited to watch more Gloria Graham movies. Obviously, it is of course a Gloria Graham picture, as we would call it, because she's I'm sure the main actress and top billed in this movie. As always, as she should be.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
So then, let me remix when I was going, because I was going to be a lead into, like, what do we want to do homework for next time?
True.
And it sounds like that is you just did a couple of picks.
I'm down for that.
We don't have to. That was just like, do you want to do that?
I mean, we can do that time. We can do it another time.
Okay, whatever.
That's just something I have thrown that out as my film noir picks.
Cool.
Well, if we want to do something else next week, we'll
check in. I think like a week from now. And see where if we want to do that for next week, or if we want to do neo noir. But we will do it.
Sure. I'll post about it on Twitter when I post the episode. That's like, hey.
We'll check talk the Sneople Twitter for the Sneople Not a Book Club.
That's right. Yeah, we'll talk about it then. That'll give us some time to figure it out. And speaking of which, thanks for hanging out with us here at Sneople at the Movies from the Infinity Break Network. Check out infinitybreak.net for more awesome content, and come hit us up on Twitter, as noted, at people_snake, or shoot us an email at sneopleatthemovies@gmail.com. Our amazing music was done by Johnny Ronaldo. You can find at Johnny Ronaldo on Twitter. Our super snazzy logo was designed by Bethany Leuthold. You can check her out at bethyleuthold.wixsite.com. If you got a subject you want to hear us talk about, a movie you think we absolutely need to see, or want to commiserate over how attractive Robert Mitchum is, come say hello. Also, if you can, please leave a review on iTunes and share the show with any friends who think would enjoy it. Any way you can spread the news helps us so much, and we really appreciate it. As always, thanks for listening, and we'll see you at the movies.
Bye!
Bye!